Come, Kasumu, 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 come, Kasumu, Kasumu, come. Yo, what's up, beautiful people? I am your friend Y311H, and welcome back to the channel today. We are about to react to something deep, powerful, and maybe even a little bit surprising. But first, just like you know how we do it here, first and always, God first. So we shall read from the book of wisdom here and say a short quick prayer before we dive in. And the word from today's passage in this book is from Philippians chapter 4 and verse 13. This is what it says. I can do everything through him who gives me strength. Exactly. We can do everything through him who gives us strength. Let's talk to this wonderful maker, my friend, before we begin. Thank you, dear Lord Father, for life and your goodness. Thank you for your breath in us. Thank you for this chance to be gathered and connected here with this wonderful viewer, your child, to give you glory, Father. Dear Lord, we humble ourselves today before you in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. We pray that you may guide us through this videos, Father. Help us to spread love and peace to the whole world together with your child, dear Father. And as we do so, impact these viewers' lives with your goodness, with your kindness, Father, and be merciful to them. Forgive them all their sins, Father, and lead them close to you. In your holy name, Jesus Christ, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Now that we have involved God, my friend, in what we are about to do, let's dive in to some real actions and good vibes. Much love.
This is exactly how you manipulate perception without fixing your broken business.
So there's this company in the Midwest, and everybody's complaining the lifts or the elevators are too slow. So they go to Otis, the elevator company, who say that for a few $1,000,000, we can replace the cabling, replace the winding gear, put in new motors and lift cars, and we can speed up your elevator. And just before they're about to spend $2,000,000, someone says, don't bother, they said. Before you do that, just try putting floor-to-ceiling mirrors between the lift doors, on the walls, on every floor. He said, what the hell are you talking about? He said, what they're saying is the lifts are too slow. What they really mean is, I get bored waiting for the lift. So they put floor-to-ceiling mirrors between the doors, and whereas before the same people who'd been jabbing impatiently at the button and getting furious, once they had mirrors, the time was occupied in grooming or mild voyeurism. All the complaints stopped. Okay? So this is what I mean by an innovation. Actually, psychological insight is just as valuable as technological advance.
Oh, you know, that's like light as a feather.
Right,
but
right.
There's like that thing in our world to where, you know, you'll notice like an empty coffee cup and someone's just like, man, it looks fake. Or they pick up a big bag of like $10 million and they just carry it like nothing.
Right.
So we want some like actual weight in. So these 80s are like actually like 15s.
Really? Let me see. Oh, shit. Oh, god damn.
So you get a little bit of struggle. They're real popular with like the TikTok like fitness influencers.
Shut the fuck.
Are you serious? Yeah.
This is, everything's fake.
Nothing's real.
Everything's fake. So this is what I have at home, to be honest. Oh.
On today's episode of Random White Acts of Danger, we have the path our parents used to take to school. Now, but for real, what's happening and why? And at first I'm like, oh, strictly for vibes, but I see in the cut like peroxide, yeah, that's a Red Bull helmet, so you already know. March for Air guessed it, death, because as you can see, Red Bull even sponsors mountaineering. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you wings to the upper room. Go climb Mount Everest. Now, I know this ain't Mount Everest, but might as well be. And it's like, at what point is high not enough? You already to the peak in my eyes. We're trying to get to this little cut right here. Motherfucker's insane. A little left, little right, minuscule misstep. It is over. You are sliding, not vibing, moving, not grooving, down to an iniquitous Mephistophelian type of death here, people. And it's just like, all because Red Bull is like, yeah, man, we need some more mountain footage. Stick a GoPro, I need you at the top. 10 out. Huh? It's like, you straddling a mountain. Just doing that, in my eyes, is already blasphemous. But it's like, you moving the snow to the left or right so you can guide a walk path. This is God's sign saying, no humans. This is strictly for nature's beauty. For this special white breed, this is just another regular day in the life. And I appreciate you. Because for me, I feel very comfortable just watching this from my phone, on my couch. Like, wow, that looks crazy as hell. You could die. I'm happy that you doing it and I'm not doing it. Because this is all I need. I mean, come on, son. This doesn't even look like the real world. Narnia, for sure. And maybe you looking for Frodo, trying to drop the ring in Mordor. I have no idea. But I know one thing. Run the outro.
Go from the pivot to the end and cut it. That'll give you the right length of wire. Then you turn two little ends into it until you end up with a piece like this. Take a tech screw, work out where you want it to sit, and then on the top side have it so as this rotates, it rotates in this direction, not this way, which could undo the loop. So this way, at top of the stay, bend that up, snuggle that in there, bend that underneath. Hey presto.
I just saw this video about the chef guy getting pissed about people in the comments saying his knives aren't sharp.
Sharpening my knife and all because it didn't catch the watermelon. I wasn't clean enough to test no situation. Just for example, the knife was sharp. If you're cutting a watermelon, there's no grip on a watermelon. A watermelon is milk. So it's hard to catch it, but no matter how sharp a knife is. That doesn't mean your knife is not sharp. That's the last thing that means. That means you haven't found a grip on it.
Okay, so obviously there's a few things wrong with that video. While that knife is not dull, it's definitely not sharp. Actual sharp knife will do this. A really, really sharp one will even do this with a carrot. While yes, there is no grip on a watermelon, but if the knife is toothy enough, it'll easily grip the skin of a watermelon. You see, the way these work is if you look at the edge of a knife under a microscope, you'll notice it'll have small serrations all along the edge. And those serrations are biting into whatever you're cutting. Watermelon, tomatoes, carrots. If it's sharpened properly, the serrations will be aligned and toothy. And if they are, they'll be more aggressive when biting into stuff. So stop being mean on the internet.
Whoa, you need to hear this.
You know, there's a reason why hell's so horrible, and it's because God has removed his attributes from this place. People say, why would he make such a horrible place? Well, Jesus said why in Matthew 25:41. He said hell was prepared for the devil and his angels. He never intended for man to go there, but he used the word prepared. That's the same word he used in John 14:2, where he goes to prepare a place for us in heaven, or make ready. So he's preparing heaven for us, hell for the devil. But what he did in the preparation was, see, James 1:17 says, every good and perfect gift comes down from above, from the Father of lights. So all the good we enjoy in life, the fresh air, sunshine, fellowship, drinking, eating, sleeping, all the good comes from God. It's not automatic. So what he did was he simply withdrew his attributes. See, hell is dark because 1 John 1:5 said God is light. There's only death in hell because John 1:4 said God is life. There's only hatred in hell because 1 John 4:16 said God is love. There's no mercy in hell because Psalms 36:5 says, the mercy of the Lord's in the heavens. There's no strength in hell because Psalms 18:32 said, it's the Lord that gives us strength. There's no water in hell because Deuteronomy 11:11 says, water is the rain of heaven. And there's no peace in hell because Isaiah 9:6 says, he is the Prince of Peace.
Este tiene super forma de nave espacial, ¿cierto? ¿Sí o no? A conciencia. Todos tienen como triangulitos, formas triangulares. Ay, Dios mío. Bueno, por lo menos desde este punto de vista. Bueno, sí. Reportando.
Huge mistake in the relationship between humans and these other civilizations. And here I want to put a button on this. When we detonated the first atomic bomb and the subsequent ones, when those go off, everybody knows what an electromagnetic pulse is. What they don't know is that there's an attending so-called scalar or longitudinal wave that is faster than the speed of light that disrupts the fabric and communication and propulsion guidance systems of extraterrestrial vehicles. This is why they came in huge force in the 40s and 50s. And this is why every single atomic and nuclear weapon storage facility, processing plant and base and ship has been surveilled by these ET vehicles. Because when those things are used, it's like tearing the fabric of space-time.
What happened to bread, guys? Because I do not remember bread ever being like this. Squishing it, it just doesn't feel like it's real bread. I just squished this. It should be completely demolished. Applying pressure. This comes back up. What is in the food that they are feeding us? Not even squished. Just coming back up as if it was not squished at all.
Here are some tattoos that don't age well and you should just probably avoid. With the first one being mustaches on the finger. Listen, this was peak energy for about 5 minutes in 2010. You used to hold it under your nose for a little laugh, but now it looks just like a faded mistake during your midlife mustache crisis. Up next are heartbeat line tattoos. Now look, these look great when fresh, but messy when they're not. Those thin lines in that tattoo will not last, especially if they're done in a high moving area. Next is getting a tattoo of any trendy phrase. Look, trends come and go. You know how many people ended up getting YOLO, live, laugh, love, or no regrets tattooed on them? Yeah, those were all fun and games to get as a tattoo, but when the trend dies, you become the joke. Just don't get it. They never age well. Up next, we got neck tattoos. Listen, the neck is a brutal spot for ink aging. Constant sun exposure, a ton of movement, and the skin on your neck is thinner than the rest of your body, and all these things combine to a crappy looking tattoo that ages really fast. Up next, we got realistic animal tattoos. Now listen, these things look gorgeous when they're first done, and it's some of my favorite tattoos out there. But realism relies on those sharp details, so when they fade, it turns into a blurry Zune animal that has seen better days.
Melvin is the best thing that we've ever bought for the farm, and I cannot express to you how much time he saves me. If you didn't know, Melvin is our robot lawnmower, and he mows all of this. He's also going to mow this entire strip too. And he ends up mowing everything that's over there by the coops and everything that's behind the house as well. I used to push mow everything that Melvin mows now. I could have got a riding lawnmower for twice the price of Melvin, but then I would have to come out here and spend all of my time mowing. We just program him and send him out on his way. He'll mow overnight, he'll mow when we're out of town, we just schedule him and he's good to go. If something unexpected is in Melvin's way, he'll just bump into it and reroute, kind of like a Roomba would. He runs with GPS too, so he's never going to leave the boundary of our property. When it's all said and done, our entire property is going to have nice patterns mowed into it, and you can change and customize those as well. No joke, this little robot has seriously changed my life.
Thanks for watching all this way. History with this robot. Ha! I'm merciful on it, even if it's still a robot. Its work is just to do that. Oh man, good baby sauce. we've seen interesting stuff together. Humans out there are full of love and extremely incredible. You see, like those guys that used to complain about the elevator issue. It was just solved the right way. It is just fantastic. Proves how humans, my friend, with their creativity, can do incredible stuff. There's a knife I've seen some guy using here. That knife is extremely sharp. I just looked at it and it gave me shivers down my spine. I can't even know where the guy stores that knife. You see? Does he keep it in the house or how? That is extremely good, babes, but what? That knife was sharp. Anyway, thanks for watching up to this point. I hope you have something to leave or say on all those videos you just watched. What's coming up is even more interesting. Let's keep on watching together and hit that like button.
Have y'all ever seen one of these? This is a climbing anchor bolt. And I'm going to show you how we make climbing anchors. First thing, you always want to make sure everything's tied off. And this is a hand drill. This is how we drill bolts into the rock. So we want to find a place on the rock that's really solid. You can tell by tapping on it, like that's not quite as solid. Listen up here, this is not solid. Hear how hollow that was? Ugh, sketch, okay. So this is a good spot for it. And then we have our drill. And we're going to drill the first bolt. And typically we wanted to hammer width away from any cracks. I'm going to go right here. And we just kind of lightly tap. And for the haters out there, this is a climbing area. There's thousands of routes. And this is how we make it safe. This is kind of minimal impact. We could put a ton of bolts running up the route of the climb, but instead we use these things called cams that we clean every time when we're done. So it's minimal impact. We really like to have minimal impact out here. Basically, as you tap, I spin it, and it slowly chips away at the rock. This is sandstone, so it goes really fast. Okay, drilled the bolt all the way to the end since we have really long bolts. Now we're gonna pull it out and clean this hole and install the bolt. Have y'all ever seen one of these? This is a climbing anchor bolt. Here we go. There we go. Beautiful. All right, let's test this thing out. Get on it here, go in direct, really give her some yoinks. Oh, she ain't going nowhere. Unclip from over here. Alright, going strictly on this bolt and my belayer. Bomber. She ain't going nowhere. Alright, what do you guys think? Would you trust it? Obviously, I'm going to put another one over here to have a backup. That way we can rappel off and we have a new climbing route. What do you think I should name it? It's my buddy's, the whole wall is named after my buddy Mason Booz. And yeah, what do you guys think I should name it?
Have you ever wrapped your mind around the fact that on the first day, God said, "Let there be light"? But God did not create the stars, the sun, and the moon until the fourth day. See, what a lot of us don't understand is God said, "Let there be light," and his word was the light. Do you understand what I'm saying? The sun, the stars, the moon are a source of light, but they are not the light of the world. That's Jesus. Took me a minute to wrap my head around that. But dang it, that's a good God. There is light because there's Jesus. And now we are called to be the light. And that's why we can share our light even when the sun doesn't shine. Even when it burns out someday, the light will carry on.
Another sign of intelligence is if your knuckles are wrinkled. That means you are smart and you don't suffer fools. It also means that you are sensitive, especially if you can see veins popping out on your hand.
All right, so I wasn't sure I was going to share this because my goal on here is to never strike fear. My goal on here is to bring communities together, start conversations, learn from one another, respect one another. But I feel like it's time that I share this story. Well, it's not a story, it's coming from the source and facts. But one of my very dear friends who I've kind of talked about on here before, who has shared some very important things that I've shared with all of you. He's a scientist. I shouldn't have said he, but yes, he's a scientist. He works with seismic activity. He works with a lot of different things that are in the science industry. I don't have to go in because I don't really want to tell too much about him. But he reached out to me about 2 weeks ago and was like, hey, my team and I have been tracking some seismic activity, and I think you should talk to your TikTok followers about this. So I didn't think I was going to do it because, you know, I don't want to strike fear, and that's not my purpose. But now what I'm about to tell you is showing up on the news, like CNN, and also news reports out of London and Australia and all over the entire world, that in the coming months, there's predicted a mile-wide volcano that is in the Pacific Ocean that is expected to go off in the next coming months. Now, when he reached out to me, they have predicted it's going to be on June 5th. And this volcano that is potentially about to erupt will trigger over 10,000 earthquakes all over the entire globe in one day. Now, I don't know what else to do with this information, but he was very adamant that perhaps I should share this information with the people who follow me. Now, I don't know if you've seen the news reports. I saw the one on CNN, and the crazy thing is it was just a scrolling bar at the bottom, not even a main story. And I don't understand why 10,000 earthquakes happening in one day and a mile-wide volcano going off in the ocean is not a headline story. So let me know.
Gold holds power, silver reflects, and copper conducts. Your jewelry, it's not just aesthetic, it's energetic. The metals you wear are speaking to your energy field, even when you don't realize it. Gold is not just a luxury flex, it's a frequency. It holds charge, it holds heat, and it holds power. That's why queens, gods, and rulers have worn it for thousands of years. Not just for the look, but for the energy. Gold aligns with solar frequency. Gold amplifies your field and it attracts. Silver's very different. It cools, it reflects, and it protects. But here's the truth, silver can also deflect. If you're already overwhelmed or energetically sensitive, wearing silver might feel grounding, but if you're trying to call things in, you might notice that they're actually bouncing off you. Then there's copper. It's not about stillness, it's about movement. It's about flow, it's about circulation. It conducts energy, and when you pair it with intentionality, you become a literal conduit for what you want. Not all metals belong on your body. Wearing mixed metals without knowing their charge is like playing the piano with gloves on. It's all noise, there's no clarity, and that just for fashion energy that you're doing, it shows up in your field. So before you throw on gold hoops or wear silver rings today, you have to ask yourself something. Are you wearing beauty or are you wearing alignment?
Excuse me, are you back there again? This has become its favorite spot. Now, and there he is. Okay, that's enough water, please. Okay. Everyone can see you in their reflection, bud. Everyone can see you in their reflection. And it's gone. Okay. I know he's not in here, but I just want anyone who's watching to see. This is too small, but just look, it's not. I just wanted you to see. The cabinets are knocking again. I'm leaving. Oh, that's enough for today.
I work in advertisement, and a long time ago I was working on a project with McDonald's, and I learned something that now I can never unsee. It says right there, made with 100% beef, which is such a funny twist of words because it's made with 100% beef, not made of 100% beef. With the McDonald's thing, it was like their chicken nuggets are made with 100% chicken. You know, there's a lot of other stuff in there, and some of it might not be 100% chicken, but it's made with 100%. Still tastes good.
In Japan, bachelor tax will be introduced from April 2026 due to decreasing of birth rates and low population in Japan. Basically, being single will be taxed. Nani? I will break it down. So the government, Japan, will increase the tax to help raising a child. If you're single or married, not having children, doesn't matter. Everyone has to pay this tax. Like this, if you give a birth, you will receive money from the government more than before, stuff like that, because government gonna use that tax to give money to the people who has a kid. Government wanna Japanese people to wanting kids, so they're introducing this bachelor tax. Do you think this will help Japanese people to make babies?
Remember those old family photos where someone, or even your dog, looks totally possessed, glowing red eyes staring right into the lens? But have you noticed that almost never happens anymore? So why not? Imagine you're standing in a dark room. Your pupils naturally dilate, they get bigger to let more light in. Now when your camera flashes, a lot of that light enters your eyes. It hits the back and reflects straight back to the camera. That's why eyes in those photos look especially bright. But why red? Because your retina is packed with tiny blood vessels. The red glow is just light bouncing off the blood-rich tissue at the back of your eye. So why don't we see red eye anymore? Mainly because modern smartphones are a lot smarter. Thanks to better sensors, they often don't need flash at all. And even if a flash is used, most phones now fire a pre-flash. It's a few tiny bursts of light just before it takes the photo. That causes your pupils to shrink, so less light gets in, and less red is reflected. No more creepy eyes.
Please do not spray your perfume on your neck like this. We have seen this many times. Whenever we pick up the bottle of perfume, the first thing we do is don't do that. This is advice that I gave my daughter. This is where your thyroid is, and you're spraying it directly on that. Thyroid is a very important gland. It is what regulates the temperature. It takes care of your energy levels and metabolism. And perfumes usually contain a lot of endocrine disrupting chemicals like phthalates, parabens, synthetic fragrance blends. And these chemicals usually mimic or blocks the natural hormones. And the skin here in your neck area is very thin, which means that it can easily absorb whatever you're spraying on top of it, and once it is absorbed, it can travel through your bloodstream, absorb into your bloodstream, disrupting and disturbing the whole thyroid system. So your neck area is more warmer than the rest of your body parts, which again makes absorption way easy.
You might want to sit down for this.
The Bible says God gave herb for the service of man and bread to strengthen man's heart. Did you know bread used to strengthen your heart? But keep in mind, the love of money, root of all evil. They learned years ago if they take out the vitamin E, the lecithin, and the omega-3 fatty acids, they take them out of the wheat, make the bread with white flour, the bread lasts for months. But the people started dying of heart attacks and strokes and circulation problems. See, it's a simple formula. The whiter the bread, the quicker you're dead. Now, it's not the white bread that's killing you, it's what's not in the bread that's killing you. See, God made bread to strengthen your heart. Remember the Bible talked about our daily bread? But people who were making bread to sell got tired of having half of it go bad on the shelf where they couldn't sell it. So they had to figure out a way to make the bread last longer to increase profits. It all goes back to money. Follow the yellow brick road.